You never saw their face, right? So you can't have any idea who was under that mask. I'm telling you now, it was Mukuro Ikusaba.
You're wrong. Even without seeing their face, there is another part of the attacker we can use to prove it wasn't her.
Oh?
Maybe the tattoo?
And what is this other part? Is it the right hand? Or the left hand? Maybe the right foot? Or perhaps the left foot? Or could it be the hips?
Okay. Whoever attacked it didn't have something Mukuro definitely had. It should be the tattoo, right? What's evidence?
You never saw their face, right?
So hold on. So which truth books do we have available? We got the file, the profile, and the injury. Okay, so I don't think file makes mention of the tattoo. Empty death, metal pipe, very old. Okay. A single. She did not have a single scar when she came. 5797. Okay. What is the other thing that we can use? The fatal injury. Okay,
You're wrong. Even without seeing their face, there is another part of the attacker we can use to prove it wasn't her.
Oh? And what is this other part? Is it the right hand? Or the left hand? Maybe the right foot? Or perhaps the left foot? Or could it be the hips?
what parts of her had the tattoo again? It was a hand. I forget which one. Say anywhere. In her profile, right? Do not have a single scar. It was one of her hands, yeah. Left hand. Can I look at this more closely? I think it's the right hand. So we'll go with right hand.
You never saw their face, right? So you can't have any idea who was under that mask. I'm telling you now, it was Mukuro Ikusaba.
Hold on, do I do it here or was there another
You're
place?
wrong.
So
Even
Kyoko
without
says,
seeing their face, there is another part of the attacker we can use to prove it wasn't her.
so we contradict
Oh?
Mukuro
And
Ikusaba
what
then.
is this
Yes.
other part? Is it the right hand?
Why am I? Why not
Or
right
the
foot?
left hand? Maybe
Right
the
hand.
right
There we go.
foot.
That's
or
better.
perhaps the left foot. Or could it be the hips? You never saw their face, right? So you can't have any idea who was under that mask. I'm telling you now, it was Mukuro Ikusaba.
I got. Yeah, what? I think that can prove that the one who attacked you wasn't Mukuro? Well, it can't. I won't let it because I'm totally right.
Shoot. You never
Okay, maybe it was
saw
the left
their
hand?
face, right? So you can't have
It's not the
any
hips,
idea
surely.
who was under that mask. I'm telling you now, it was Mukuro Ikusaba.
It also could be the other way around. It could be Mukuro Ikusaba right hand.
Even without seeing their face, there is another part of the attacker we can use to prove it wasn't her.
That's one of the annoying things about the mechanic, where it's like, you use a thing in the text to contradict another thing in the text, but which way do you do it? Wait, you lost right hand? Oh, I lost right hand. Thanks for letting me know. Gotcha.
Or could it be the hips?
I have sips anyway.
You never saw their face, right? So you can't have any idea who was under that mask. I'm telling you now, it was Mukuro Ikusaba.
Cradle was on the right hand. I have the right foot again?
Shoot.
What? But I...
You never saw their face, right? So you can't have any idea who was under that
How do I
mask.
keep selecting the right foot?
I'm telling you now, it was Mukuro Ikusaba.
You're wrong. Even without seeing their face, there's another part of the attacker we can use to prove it wasn't her.
Oh?
Okay, come on.
What is this other part? Is it the right hand?
Right hand.
Or the left hand?
There, right hand. Got it.
Maybe the right foot. Or perhaps the left foot.
It's a
Or
hand.
could it
I've got my
be
eyes on this hand.
The hips.
It's all in the hands.
You never
Right
saw
hand.
their face, right? So you can't have any idea who was under that mask. I'm telling you now, it was Mukuro Ikusaba. No, that's wrong.
I was right 3 times in a row, but only right once. Ugh.
Mukuro had a tattoo on her right hand, if I remember correctly. A representation of Fenrir. In other words, a wolf tattoo. But I saw the right hand of the person who attacked me. And there was no such tattoo.
Now, in theory, you could maybe use makeup to hide a tattoo, no?
So there's no way the person behind the mask was Mukuro.
Yeah, well, okay. You got me. I guess it wasn't her.
Well, then who was it?
But that still doesn't prove that it was me. It could have been, you know, someone else, right?
Hiro, Toko, Hina, and I all have solid alibis for that entire night.
Not Kyoko.
Yeah! We were in the gym tearing you apart, so it could have been any of us.
Oh, okay, sure. It couldn't have been any of you. But what about Kyoko? It totally could have been her. Uh-oh, no snappy comeback. Did I score a bullseye?
If you insist, I don't mind showing you.
Oh, her hands?
Huh? Show me what?
What do you think? I'll show you the one thing that proves beyond a shadow of a doubt it wasn't me.
Before anyone could say anything. Kyoko was removing her gloves.
Your hands!
Without thinking, I let out a gasp. It was more than just a little burned skin.
Awful, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It happened when I was first learning to be a detective. I was inexperienced.
I thought you didn't want anyone to see those scars.
If it means we get another step closer to unmasking the mastermind, it doesn't really bother me.
Kyoko seemed to savor the words as she said them. Then she put her gloves back on. Yeah, that's gnarly.
My scars should suffice as proof. Makoto, did the person who attacked you have scars like mine?
No.
No, not at all. I'm positive.
Then this much has been made clear. There can be no doubt that the one who attacked Makoto is the true mastermind.
This is just awful. On top of my secret being revealed, I had to look at those positively grotesque scars of yours.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, did I say that out loud? I do hope I didn't hurt your feelings.
Hold on, what? One other thing I'd like to look into. report card. Okay, so it's not relevant. Never mind.
Not at all.
I was looking
You
to
can say
see if
whatever
the
you want.
order of people in the CD matched the order on the report card. See if there's anything to be inferred from that.
Sure, as long as it means pushing me farther into the corner, right? But I'm not cornered just yet.
Also, cornering a bear isn't generally a great idea.
Because if you haven't noticed, the circumstances surrounding Mukuro's death are totally unknown.
That's true. All we know right now is she was killed a good while before this morning.
On the contrary, we don't know anything other than that.
You're not going to tell us she was already dead before we arrived here or something, are you?
Well, no, but I'm gonna tell you she died before the first trial even occurred.
In that regard, you have nothing to worry about. I promise you, without a doubt, she died after our little killing game began here.
Then somehow she was killed in secret without any of us knowing.
Yeah, she was killed in front of us all.
And after she died, who knows how much time went by before we found her, right?
None. Literally none.
Did the culprit stash her somewhere? She couldn't have been in the garden the whole time, could she?
If she was, she would have been totally decomposed. Just like your brain.
Not if you had a climate-controlled environment.
Then she was being stored somewhere?
But to hide a body here, to just store it somewhere?
There's only one place. I can't think of anyone else the body could have been stored other than the biolab.
I got it!
What?
Mukuro's body was probably kept hidden in the biolab.
Biolab? You mean on the 5th floor?
That's right. It's actually set up for use as a morgue. So it's the perfect place to hide a body, and it'd keep the body preserved at the same time.
Then you're also saying the body was moved from the biolab to the garden.
And I have no doubt that that's exactly what happened. In fact, I have proof.
It's tarp time. Proof that shows the body was carried from the biolab to the garden is none other than a tarp.
I got it! What makes me so sure the body was carried from the biolab to the garden is the tarp that we found in the garden. When I was checking it over again, I noticed something. I noticed that some text had been stamped on one corner of the tarp.
Oh, it says biolab.
Holy cow! How'd you notice that tiny little thing?
Attention to detail.
Makoto's nitpicky nature seems to have surfaced with perfect timing.
Hey, well, it's nitpicky.
This proves that the tarp originally came from the biolab. In fact, there's a whole stack of tarps just like it in there.
So when the killer moved the body to the garden, they must have grabbed a tarp to wrap it in. Then they simply left it as it was to protect against the sprinklers, and put the code on it afterwards.
You made everything sound so amazingly consistent.
That's just a wild guess. Where's your evidence? Prove that the body was wrapped in a tarp and moved.
Haven't we already done enough on that front?
There is no evidence. I was simply explaining what I think happened. But you seem to be getting pretty worked up about it, wouldn't you say?
Worked up?
Now that the conversation has turned to the topic of the biolab, you must be getting pretty nervous.
Indeed.
Because the key to uncovering your secret identity is hidden within that room, isn't it?
You talking about unmasking the mastermind?
You see, the biolab contained an inconsistency. One so major it can't be overlooked.
An inconsistency in the biolab. Could you be talking about?
La la la, I can't hear you. La 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 la.
Hey!
Such a child. Oh well, just ignore him.
I need to pull myself together and think. The inconsistency in the biolab. Could you be talking about...
Hey, by the way, Makoto, what about that one thing?
What?
What one thing?
What do you think I'm talking about?
No clue.
Your family.
Are you threatening me? Because it's not going to work. What?
Don't tell me you forgot about that video message. So what do you think? Are you sure your family's still okay?
Don't know enough as I get out of here. By exposing you.
Why are you bringing that up now?
Your mom, your dad, your little sister. What do you think has happened to your family? Are they really as safe as you might have assumed?
Stop talking about that!
Calm down, Makoto. He wants you to get upset.
Yeah, I need to calm down. Can't let him get to me. He's just saying that because he knows we're getting close to the truth of the biolab. If I want to shut him up, I need to expose the inconsistency and slam him with it. Okay, here we go.
Are you sure about this?
What's was it shift?
Sure about this? That's impossible!
Hold on, let's reload again. Tempo, lock on, attack, tab. Okay.
What do you want? Are you sure about this? That's impossible!
He's doing a lot.
Are you sure about this? Bro!
Can I just like?
Are you sure about this? Are you sure about this?
My final strike is going to be
I'm not listening!
the hold on, what is Biolab's secret technically? This? Dang it. Okay, it wasn't. I mean, I know it's the 9 corpses, but what's that labeled as?
What do you want?
Okay, Biolab
I'm not
secret,
listening.
Biolab. The lights? Yeah, the lights. That's what it is specifically.
This should prove it. The inconsistency Kyoko's talking about is the lights.
What are you talking about? What about the lights?
Like I said before, the biolab also acts as a morgue.
Indeed, it does.
And as part of that, a giant refrigerator was installed in there. That's where everyone who's died is stored.
And it was set up so that when a slot had a body in it, a blue light would turn on.
In other words, if the blue light is on, that means there's a body in that slot.
Yeah.
But I counted up the number of blue lights that were on, including the one Mukuro was in. And there were only 9.
Why does that matter? You gotta give me the bite-sized version here, man.
None lights doesn't make sense. The number of lights that should be on is 10.
I got it! 10 of the lights should have been on. Any other number is incredibly suspicious.
Suspicious? Why?
Because 10 people have died, supposedly.
That's simple. Just recall who's died here so far, and it should become clear.
That's right. And that's the key to solving this mystery. Saika died first. Junko was second. Leon was third. Chihiro was fourth. Mondo was 5th. Taka was 6th, then Hifumi was 7th. Celeste was 8th. Sako was 9th. And victim number 10 was Mukuro.
So 10 people in all?
Yes.
That's right. Any other number should make you immediately suspicious. But according to the lights in the biolab, only 9 people were being stored there.
Indeed.
You're saying a dead body just up and disappeared?
No, I'm saying one death was reused, reduced, recycled even.
I got it! The mastermind destroyed one of the bodies to get rid of evidence.
I don't know, like, that seems weird to just change your modus operandi out of the blue like that.
But if they wanted to do that, they would have destroyed Mukuro's body, since they actually killed her. And yet, her body was left alone.
Then, whose body disappeared?
It may very well be that none of them disappeared.
Exactly.
And if that's true, then why doesn't the body count match?
Including Monokuma's executions, there have apparently been 10 deaths, but there were only 9 bodies. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I'm completely lost. How can the number of victims be less than the number of murders?
If someone was murdered twice. The reason there are less bodies than murders. The explanation for more murders than victims. Why is that? What would it take for that to make sense? The same person was killed twice. Only 9 murders actually took place, as it turns out. There weren't actually 10 murders, but 9. That's why there are 9 bodies. That's patently untrue. Counting Monokuma's executions have indeed been 10 murders. I think we can all agree on. Okay. Look, I know the same person was killed twice, but technically, it was only killed once, just then defiled. So I'm technically right here, just to be clear. Actually, you're completely right, so it's like I just embarrassed myself. Okay, you can't give two technically correct answers here, all right? Only 9 murders took place is technically correct. Because the same person can't be killed twice. Like, I'm going BS on this one. If the same person was killed twice is correct, then only 9 murders took place is also technically correct. This is ridiculous.
I got it. What about it?
If anything, only 9 murders took place is more precise.
Killed twice?
Officially, 10 murders have been committed so far.
It's the answer 1 + 1, 2, or 2 + 0. I don't know, that's a tough one.
But one of the victims may have been murdered, and then murdered again.
Which means, since you can't actually be murdered twice, technically speaking, there were only 9 murders. Just saying.
Murdered and murdered again?
If that's the case, there could have been 10 killings, but still only 9 victims, right?
Well, no, technically, it would just be 9 murders that were then presented as if it were 10. Right? We don't say Hifumi was killed twice, we say he was killed once, but faked it out one time. Jeez.
Technically, you're right, I guess. But still, something like that.
Could easily have happened. No, it is what happened.
I'm curious if in the original Japanese, those answers are different in a meaningful way that makes it actually make sense. And then they've got just mashed into basically the exact same answer in English.
Sounds like you're already convinced. Then can you tell us who was killed twice?
Well, okay, do you want me to tell you who was actually killed twice or who we were made to believe was killed twice?
It was Mukuro, of course.
Okay, luckily it's still an actual choice.
Before she was killed as Mukuro Ikusaba, she was killed as someone else.
You're saying my crazy theory actually is correct?
And that's why the body had to be stored in the biolab until the moment we found it in the garden.
No, that's crazy talk. She was killed as someone else? Come on! Besides, who could that someone else even have been?
It's
All
obvious.
you have to do is look at those bodily injuries of hers, and that will become obvious.
Nothing's gonna become obvious. Because Kyoko's totally delusional.
No, she's completely right. Actually. Let's just hope there aren't synonyms as answers this time. Fatal injury, the profile, or the Monokuma file. Interesting.
Who is this someone else that Mukuro was killed as? Was it Sayaka Maizono? Junko
This is
Enoshima?
the correct one.
Leon Kuwata? Chihiro Fujisaki? Mando Owada? Kiyotaka Ishimaru? Hifumi Yamada? Celestia Lu... whatever? Or maybe... Sakura Ogami? No. There's no way anyone was murdered twice!
It was Junko.
No, that's wrong. Junko.
The injuries match up. The measurements match up. It just makes too much sense. Not to mention, we never see Junko's face in the pictures because you didn't want to reveal what she actually looked like because we never knew the real Junko.
Wasn't her fatal injury pretty similar to Mukuro's?
What do you mean?
Well, remember what happened to her? She was impaled by a bunch of spears all over her body.
Thank you, Josh.
And Mukuro died from a number of wounds across her body. When you compare that to the stab wounds Junko suffered,
Similarities match?
Yes, and those are the only fatal injuries that match up. That explains why those two bodies are actually one and the same.
so let me see if I have this straight. Junko, or someone going by that name, was stabbed to death with multiple spears.
Indeed.
Then her body was kept in the biolab for however long before being dragged out again. Only this time, it was presented as the corpse of one Mukuro Ikusaba.
Now the question is, was it actually Junko, or is it actually Mukuro? Technically.
It all matches up, right?
I would say the
Junko
presence of that
suffered
tattoo
could easily be the same injury.
means it's more likely that it was actually Mukuro than that it was actually Junko. Not to mention Junko's obstruction in the pictures. Means it's more likely I think someone was faking being Junko.
It's really true? Mukuro and Junko are the same person?
Not technically, but sure.
Wait, so then... What does it all mean?
It means that there haven't been 10 victims, but 9.
Or one could say that, you know, perhaps one could phrase that as there has only been 9 murders. One could, in theory, someone could phrase it that way, I suppose.
Which also means that among the people we thought were dead, one is still alive.
And that's the true identity of the mastermind?
Who is it? Who's behind all this?
We already know the answer to that. It's Mukuro. She's still alive.
Nope, you're wrong. That's where you're wrong. It's that too.
She took Junko's body and made it look like she was the one who died. So Mukuro is still alive. She's gotta be. Total silence? Then I must be right.
No. He's playing you.
Aren't I?
He's playing you, Toko. Mukuro alive? Well, not still alive as Mukuro. But can we really believe that?
The body we found in the garden. It wasn't Mukuro.
Then she's still alive?
That's right.
We only have a minute
She
50
made it
on
look
this.
like Junko's body was her.
Sheesh.
So the mastermind's true identity is Mukuro.
What do you say, Monokuma? Do you give up?
Okay, so it's not Mukuro.
The body we found in the garden.
I think it's her profile, right? We point out that the body.
Then she's still alive?
Hold on,
That's right. She made it look like Junko's.
we point out that the body has to be Mukuro because it matches her measurements.
Mastermind's true identity is Mukuro.
What do you say, Monokuma? Do you give up?
Okay.
The body we found in the
The
garden.
profile has the measurements.
It wasn't Mukuro.
Actually, it was, as it turns out. Surprising, I know. Mukuro was Junko. Who would have thought?
No, the body we found in the garden was Mukuro. That's one thing we can be sure of. The body's appearance and measurements are consistent with her records. Right, Kyoko?
She was 5 foot 6 inches tall and weighed 97 pounds. Her vitals were 31, 21, 32. Everything in her profile is consistent with that corpse.
And then there's the matter of the Fenrir tattoo. So there's no question it's her.
But if Mukuro's not the mastermind, then who's actually still alive?
Someone's made it look like they died, but they're actually still alive. There's only one person it could be. Well, this'll be easy. I mean, who else but Junko Inoshima?
Here's my answer. Junko is still alive. It's the only possibility.
Are you sure about that?
Are you sure? You're sure? I'm not sure about that?
Huh?
I admit, since Mukuro is undoubtedly dead, Junko does seem to be the only other explanation. But we saw her get impaled. She died right before our very eyes.
What was that Junko? I don't think it was. And if you were to pick anyone to swap places with, it would be Junko, because I guarantee she has a lot of makeup covering up that face. Way easier to fake.
If Junko were still alive, the death we saw would had to have been some kind of charade. But you yourself confirmed she was dead, did you not?
Well, yes. The person who we thought at the time was Junko was dead. But that person was actually the other girl in disguise. Now that you mention it. I gently placed my hand on Junko's lifeless body. I touched her wrist to check for a pulse, like they do in movies and stuff, but she really is dead. There wasn't anything else to say. She was gone. I did check, absolutely, and I can't say for sure.
She was dead. There's no question. Junko was dead.
But it wasn't Junko. That was like the whole premise of how we got here.
The idea that she's still alive.
It must be wrong.
Am I the mad one here? Did everyone forget the entire train of logic that brought us to this point? We rode like the bullet train from Tokyo down to like, I don't know, another Japanese island or something, to Nagasaki, and then we said, oh, we walked here pretty fast, didn't we?
Then you're withdrawing your previous statement?
I know you gave it your best shot, but too bad. I guess your conclusion was a dud.
What evidence are we going to use to hammer this home? It's the picture that we're going to use.
Too bad, too bad.
We're gonna say, hey, does anyone actually remember what Junko looks like? Anyone? Oh, you think you do?
This case hasn't been decided just yet.
The team lacks object permanence.
You haven't given up already, have you, Makoto?
Huh?
No, of course not. There's no way I'd give up that easy.
That's all well and good, but how do you intend to solve the problem standing in your way? Junko absolutely died. Mukuro absolutely died.
Then both of them are dead, right? There can't be any kind of survivor story.
I think we need to look at this from the opposite direction.
Huh? The opposite direction?
Let's assume Junko is still alive. If so, how could she have survived?
See, the thing that just bothers me here is, like, we used Junko's injuries to deduce that Mukuro was Junko. Like, we already did this part, did we not? Like, we got here because the injuries that Junko suffered matches the one found on Mukuro's corpse. How could Junko have survived? Because she wasn't there. She wasn't there, dog. I checked her. She was dead. I'm sure of it. What happened? Do I have amnesia now? This is deja vu. But still, if she were alive somehow, it would be that Junko's not the one that died. The exact same conclusion we came to like 5 minutes ago. It wasn't Junko, but someone else entirely. Maybe she used some sort of trick. Oh, Hangman's Gambit. Okay, here we go. Third letter P. Third to last letter C. Can't be disappear. That's no. What sort of letters? We'll get an I, R, N. It can't be disguise. And I know exactly what I'm supposed to say here. Like, oh, it was the other girl. Doppelganger? There's no way it's doppelganger. There's not a C in doppelganger. Nip, nap, tap, tep, rep, pot, pip. What could this say? It's come on, guys. Should be. I can't. I shouldn't do that. That's cheating. I could just start shooting. Replaces? Yeah, that could be it. Replace. Okay, yeah, that's it. That's not even how I would describe it. I guess it's a replace. Replaced. Yeah, replaced with a D.
Now I understand. That's it. What if she switched places with someone else?
Whoa. The entire theory of the case up to this point. Who would have thought?
Switched places?
That's right. before the spears could kill her, she got someone to take her place.
Like, if I were doing that, I'd say like a fraud or a disguise or something. But,
Specifically, Mukuro Ikusaba.
Then that would make it Mukuro's corpse that showed up later.
Indeed.
Which is why the body's height and weight and everything match Mukuro's profile, right?
I don't know anything about this switching places thing, but that had to be Junko who got stabbed to death, right?
What makes you say that? You don't know Junko, do you? What do you know? Have you ever seen Junko before in your life?
Yeah, you're saying they switched? When could they even have done that?
Before all this even began.
Right when she was about to die? Like she used some kind of ninja replacement technique?
Yeah, here's the thing, guys. You have to understand. We never knew Junko. We never knew her. By evidence of the fact someone was piloting Monokuma at the time of her death. Presumably, Junko herself.
Good point. There's just no way they could have switched like that. So maybe the whole idea is wrong.
There has to be some way. I need to figure out how to explain how they could have switched. Switched at the... They switched after them. They switched at the beginning! You don't know Junko! You never did!
The two of them may have switched places from the very beginning.
What? From the beginning?
Yes, from the moment we first met. If that's when they switched, then they wouldn't have had to switch at the moment of death, right? After all, the one we saw at that point would have already been Mukuro.
Hold on. So you're saying the Junko we first met
Was Mukuro.
is actually Mukuro all along?
Then we'd already met her?
I had like a normal conversation with her.
When we first met, none of us knew who anyone else was. So Mukuro could have simply told us her name was Junko,
And we'd be none the wiser.
and we never would have known the difference. That would easily allow the two of them to switch places from the very beginning.
Wait, but Mukuro had a tattoo on the back of her hand, right?
Could have been covered up with makeup.
Junko never had any tattoo like that, did she?
She could have hidden it with foundation or something like
Exactly, yeah.
that. If she did, it likely melted away in the explosion, exposing the tattoo after the body was extinguished.
Or heck, you could have even, like, intentionally took it off. To further make it seem like two murders.
Plus, there were the fake nails found on the hands.
I told you those nails were suspicious.
They were the same fake red nails she was wearing when we all met for the first time.
But if she really did use foundation,
Correct. Even if there was no tattoo on her hand, I couldn't say for certain it wasn't Mukuro. So I'm glad nobody noticed that glaring hole when we were trying to figure out who attacked Makoto. But too bad for you, Monokuma. You can't deny it anymore.
Wait, so this whole thing was a setup from the very beginning?
Yep.
If that's true, it was quite an elaborate plan to be sure, making it look like Mukuro was Junko.
The reason such an elaborate plan was possible is because the two of them were working together.
Indeed. Well, I will say, I think Mukuro really got the short end of the stick there.
So Mukuro, the ultimate despair, teamed up with someone like her. In other words, it would be fair to say that Junko herself was also the ultimate despair.
What's wrong? Lost the will to fight back?
I think he's just afraid.
Afraid? What's that mean, afraid? Fear is only possible where hope is possible. I only have despair, so fear is an alien concept to me.
And why haven't you been saying anything?
Because it's a bunch of nonsense. Junko's my secret identity. As if.
What do you mean, as if?
Then why did you try and protect Junko's real identity?
True.
I tried to protect her identity. When did I do that?
So he still refuses to admit it, but he can try to see if it's all he wants. It doesn't matter, because I've already figured it out. He tried to hide Junko's identity, and not just once, but twice. Not just twice, but thrice. Not just thrice, but quatrice. First time was during our latest investigation. There's gotta be the photos, right? Or is it too early for this? Micro is pictured, Makoto's not. Yeah, something else is. This has got to be the photos, right? You specifically gave us a bunch of photos where Junko's face is obscured 4 times. That's not a coincidence. Okay, hold on. What matters now is presenting the right evidence. It has to do with what Monokuma tried to keep from me seeing during the investigation. Okay, okay. Gotcha, okay. He stopped. This is actually what I was trying to look into before. I was looking at if the order of the people equated with the order of the interviews on the DVD. It doesn't, because Sayaka's number 8, and then I was second time first. Because I wanted to see, because we got cut off at Kyoko. I wanted to see if she was like directly before Junko, is what I was hoping to see. So I guess that's where I didn't quite jump to it, because I don't think it's only implied necessarily that we never saw Junko. So there we go.
I got it! While I was in the AV room, watching the DVD of our interviews with the headmaster.
It wasn't just the monitor, the DVD player itself had apparently turned off. Which of course meant that the DVD wasn't playing anymore. What the heck just happened? Oopsie, looks like it broke out of service. What, it just so happened to break just now? Now then, when doesn't matter, failure can strike anywhere, anytime. That's what failure is, right?
You made sure I couldn't finish watching the video. And the reason you did that is because you didn't want me to see the real Junko, did you?
Oh, yeah! If everyone was in that video, of course Junko would have had to show up.
And if Makoto saw the real Junko, it would have been totally obvious that the Junko we met was an imposter.
That whole power outage thing was just a fluke.
Really? No, it wasn't a fluke. The Mastermind definitely orchestrated the power outage. That's not the only time they tried to hide Junko's identity. He tried to cover up another piece of evidence. The photos. Now it's photo time. Oh, it's this again? No! Okay. Hold on.
What do you want? What do you want? Are you sure about this? You're getting all riled up. That's impossible.
Dang. Okay, go. Oh, right.
What do you want? What do you want?
Okay, final strike. It's gotta be,
That's impossible.
Not the profile, not the photo. It's the group photos. What? Okay, I guess it's something else first. Oh, have we come to the end of the debate? Well, it seems we're able to unearth the mystery of the school, or Mukuro's death. You know what that means? It's everyone's favorite punishment time, ha ha ha.
Is this really the end for all of us? I refuse to give up yet.
This is one of the biggest issues with these sorts of games. I'm not saying I've got the solution to it, but when you're clearly on the right track, but you're like a step ahead of it, of where they think you're supposed to be logically.
What do you want? What do you want? Are you sure about this? You're getting all riled up. That's impossible.
What could it be, though, that I'm supposed to present, if not the photo at this point? What else did he try to cover up? Okay, what are my options? A profile? Can't be the interview again. It's not the handbook.
What? What do you want?
I mean, what's the other option? The photo of Kyoko?
What do you want? Are you sure about this? You're getting all riled up.
Just you're saying I ran out of time. I mean, I'll try group photo again then, I guess.
This should prove it.
Oh, come on! You're freaking kidding me! I had the right thing.
The video wasn't the only thing you tried to cover up. You did the same thing with this group photo.
Oh.
Well, it was the group photo. I guess shot like half a second too late.
I noticed it just a little while ago, when we were all comparing the photos we got. In all the photos, there's a certain similarity, an unusual circumstance.
What's so unusual about them?
The unusual circumstance common to all these pictures is Junko's face.
I got it! Junko's face. The one thing common to every
First right
single
now,
photo
this, seriously.
is that you can't see her face. It's hard to believe her face would just happen to be hidden in every single picture, don't you think? And on top of that, in this photo, you can see that Mukuro is clearly visible. So in other words, at that point, the two of them hadn't switched yet.
Yes. Ah, yes. Gotcha.
With all that in mind, there's no doubt that the girl whose face is hidden here is the real Junko. Which is why you had to have pictures that didn't show her face. Because if we could have seen her face, then it would have clearly revealed.
But also Celestia's edited in the background. I mean, she might not be. She might just kind of be awkward and not want to participate with everyone else. That's plausible.
That the Junko in the pictures wasn't the Junko that we knew.
Xanadu!
I believe everything Makoto said is true. Junko and Mukuro switched places before we met either of them.
So she killed Mukuro, who had taken her place, making it look like she died. And the real Junko is still alive.
And she's the one behind this whole murderous situation. This killing game. She's the true mastermind and the ultimate despair.
Xanadu times 2!
With this, the identity and the crimes of the mastermind have been exposed.
There we go. Case solved. Case closed.
No, wait! Hold on! Don't bother trying to deny it. There's no more room for debate. You don't have anywhere left to run. I'll prove everything, right now!